Okay. Bismillahi wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Allahumma iftah alayna abwaaba rahmatik wa anshur alayna khaza'ina 'ulumik. Rabbana zidna ilma, Rabbana zidna ilma, Rabbana zidna ilma. Okay, so today we're going to be doing part 2 of Balagha, and inshallah I'm just going to carry on doing it like class 1, class 2, class 3, because there's no real there's nothing I can say like for specific topics, because we're going to go through them one at a time, but depending on how we get on in each class, that's going to dictate how much further along we go in each class, inshallah, because sometimes we might need to stay on a concept for a bit longer, inshallah, to really understand it, because I don't just want this to be a case of acquiring knowledge and just having something there, that's in your knowledge database. I want to actually have this as concepts we understand, that we learn from, and inshallah we can implement it. So when we are reciting the Quran, when we are reading the Quran, even if it's just a case of looking at the translations, depending on where our level of knowledge is, I want us to have this understanding that balagha goes beyond the surface of the words. So, inshallah, we're going to begin here for today's class. Some of the sisters may have already done this class with me already, but bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, with this new group I've created, I wanted to do all of my classes together in this mixed class. So, inshallah, I'm going to go through this part 2 of Balagha. So, first things first, let us all purify and correct our intentions so that we may gain the most amount of benefit and barakah from this class and any other classes, or from the knowledge that we seek, inshallah. So with every class that we do, whenever we're seeking knowledge, whatever we're doing in life, we have to remember innamal a'malu binniyah. All our actions and deeds are upon their intentions. So whenever we're doing anything, we have to always remember to purify and correct our intentions. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and may Allah Azza wa Jal give us the inspiration and the ability to purify and correct our intentions, and may He accept it from us, and may He purify us and help us to correct ourselves. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. May He increase us in knowledge and in wisdom and in implementing what we learn, so that it's not just something that we keep on the surface, that this is something that we use to build our connection to Allah Azza wa Jal. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Okay, so now let's begin. So the last time in the beginner's introduction class for Balagha, I spoke about how there's 3 categories of Balagha. So Balagha is the eloquence and the beauty of the language itself, and it's categorized in these 3 parts. So number 1, ilmul bayan. This is the science of using creative language to capture the imagination of the audience. This is about imagery. It's about inspiring the imagination of the person who listens. And the beautiful thing about ilmul bayan is everyone can take something different out of it, because we all have a different level of imagination in our minds. And so this inspires us to look within ourselves. Subhanallah, it's a beautiful, beautiful concept. Number 2, we've got ilmul ma'ani. This is the science of communicating effectively by understanding your audience. Subhanallah. Because the way we speak to different kinds of people will vary. We have to have this wisdom, this adaptability, because if we don't understand our audience, we won't be able to communicate effectively with them. So ilmul ma'ani is very important, subhanallah. And we'll see this, how Allah Azza wa Jal has done this in the Quran. It's so beautiful, subhanallah. And then the last one, we've got ilmul badir. This is the science of phonetically beautifying your speech through techniques like rhythm and rhyme. Subhanallah, like we find in the Quran, there are so many surahs, the little surahs, that they rhyme with each other. They have the same endings, they have the same flow, they have the same timing. And it makes it so beautiful to recite because it's phonetically beautiful. It's not just the meaning, it's not just the audience that is being communicated to, it's the way that it's phonetically beautified by Allah Azza wa Jal, through the way He has created these words and put them together. Subhanallah. So all 3 of these together, ilmul bayan, ilmul ma'ani, and ilmul badi', all 3 of these are captured in balagha. When you have all 3, you have the most beautiful of speech. Subhanallah. So we are going to be first of all discussing topics under the category of ilmul bayan to begin with. And the first concept that we're going to be studying is called at-tashbih. So I don't want you to get fixated on all of the Arabic per se, but inshallah, if you do manage, that's even better. But if you don't worry about it, inshallah. It'll come in time. I still get confused when I'm still doing these sorts of things, alhamdulillah. Okay, so we're going to start with at-tashbih. And at-tashbih comes from the root letters Shin, Ba, Ha. This comes from family number 2, pattern number 2, which inshallah we will go through when we do sarf. But just to make you aware that the family that this word comes from, it comes from shabbaha yushabbihu tashbihan. It's the masdar of this family. It's the verbal noun. And if we look here, this is from Edward Lane's lexicon. It's where you go to find the meanings of the verbs or particular words that you don't know the meaning for in the Arabic. You look up the root letters and you find it on Edward Lane's lexicon. So here we've got shabbaha from family number 2. That's why there's a 2 here. So here we've got shabbaha, and it means he made it to be like it or to resemble it. He assimilated it to it. It's like mithl. So to be likened to or compared with. So here it says, I put the thing in the place or predicament of the other thing by reason of an attribute. So it's to make a comparison. It's to make a likeliness between two things. Was that even English? I don't even, subhanAllah. To make something like the other, to have this comparison. So when we talk about at-tashbih, we're talking about comparisons. So even if you don't remember the Arabic, don't worry about it, inshallah. But remember that at-tashbih, the first concept we're going to be studying is about comparisons, inshallah. So when we make comparisons, we're talking about, actually, here we go. So it's also known as a simile in English terminology. So does anyone know anything about similes? Or can you give any examples in English, inshallah? Feel free to unmute and let me know. Go ahead, sisters.
As soft as butter.
What was that, sorry?
Soft as butter.
What did you say, sorry? I didn't catch that.
Soft as butter.
I think she said as soft as butter.
As
Yeah.
soft as butter. That's a good one.
Mhm.
That's a good one, mashallah. That's a really good one. As soft as butter. Good. So that's an example of a simile. Can anyone give any others?
As cold as ice.
Good, mashallah. Very good. Go on, Ed. Who else has some?
As soft as cotton wool.
Yeah, that's a good one. As soft as cotton wool. Mashallah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because it's what comes up in our own minds, the imagery that we have in our minds. It's a beautiful thing. Everyone has something different to bring to it. Go ahead, inshallah. Whoever would like to say. Feel free. So a simile is the comparisons. Go ahead, inshallah, sisters. Go ahead.
As bright as the sun.
That's a good one, mashallah. Yes, as bright as the sun. Great one, mashallah. Really good.
As hard as a rock.
Good, mashallah. As hard as a rock. Very good, mashallah. Can anyone tell me, what do all of these examples have in common?
As a or like a.
Good, mashallah. Good. So there's something connecting the comparison. There's a word or two words there that connect the two things together to show you that there is a comparison. Because if you just said hard rock, then that's not really a comparison. It's just telling you like there's a hard rock.
That's just describing the rock.
Exactly. But making a comparison, making a simile, means that you're putting something in between to show you that there is a comparison there. That was really good, mashallah. Really, really good. That was really good, mashallah. All the sisters who gave an example, they were all brilliant examples, mashallah. Okay, so here I've got some. So that boy is as tall as a tree. He's so brave like a lion. She's as fragile as glass. She moved as quiet as a mouse. The clouds are like candy floss. His explanation was as clear as mud. He stood like a deer in the headlights. She was as beautiful as a rose. That girl is as busy as a bee. So adding on to all of the wonderful examples we just had, here's a few that I came up with. And in all of the above examples, there's a direct comparison being made between two things. In a lot of the ones I just gave, it was about an animal and a person. But there's also things and people. There's always two things that are being likened to each other. The boy and the tree, the boy and the lion, the girl and glass, the girl and a mouse, the clouds and candy floss, the explanation and mud, the boy and a deer, the girl and a rose, the girl and a bee. There is a direct comparison being made between these two things. And in the Arabic terminology, the two parts that we've just mentioned, these two parts that are being compared, you've got number one, the mushabbah, what is being compared. So it's usually the first thing that gets mentioned will be the mushabbah, because that is what is being compared. And then the mushabbah bihi, the thing it is being compared to. So can anyone give me an example? And then let me know which part is the mushabbah and which part is the mushabbah bihi. Go ahead, inshallah.
Like for example, the example of she is as cold as ice. She is the mushabba, and cold as ice is the mushabba bihi.
So it wouldn't be the cold as, but it would just be the ice.
Yeah.
Because she's being compared to ice.
That makes sense, Jazakallah.
That was really good, mashallah. Who else would like to have a go?
As hard as a rock. So the rock would be mushabbah bihi.
Good.
And hard will be mushabbah?
No?
No?
I think in this case, you would need to have something that was as hard as a rock.
Yeah.
That would be the mushabbah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's
So if we
something,
said,
there must be something that this is as hard as a rock, yeah.
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 So if we said something like his skull was as hard as a rock,
yeah. Yeah.
what would be the
Okay,
mushabbah?
So, the skull.
Good, mashallah. The skull
Yeah, the
would be the
skull
mushabbah.
Yeah. I haven't done balagha and I have nothing, I mean, no knowledge about it, but it's really interesting.
Mashallah, it is, isn't it? It's fascinating,
Yeah.
subhanAllah.
Yeah,
It makes you really
alhamdulillah.
think as well.
Yes, yes.
Alhamdulillah. That was really
Yeah,
good. That was a
yeah.
really good example.
Jazakallahu Khairan. May Allah give you reward
Ameen, and you
for
as well.
this beautiful work.
Ameen, 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 ya Rab. Who else would like to have a go, inshallah?
She is as beautiful as a rose. She is the mushabba, and rose is the mushabba bihi.
Good, mashallah. Very, very good. Very good, alhamdulillah. So we can see that the mushabbah is the thing that is being compared. It's usually the first thing that's mentioned. And then the mushabbah bihi is what it's compared to, which is usually afterwards. But in the tashbih, there's actually two more components. So you've got the mushabbah, you've got the mushabbah bihi, and these things never, ever, ever get removed. It'll make sense as we go along. But these two parts, the mushabbah and the mushabbah bihi, will always, always, always be inside a tashbih. Always. But the other two parts, let me show you about those. The other two parts. So we've got the mushabbah, mushabbah bihi, but then we've also got the adatu tashbih. The adatu tashbih is the tool of comparison. The tool of comparison. So like we were saying, as though she is as beautiful as. When we use the words like or as though or the example of is like, When you use these sorts of words, these are known as the adatu tashbih. And then the last one, you've got the wajhu tashbih. The wajhu tashbih is the similarity which causes the comparison. So for example, like we said, she's as cold as ice. Who was it that gave that example, mashallah? So if you'd like to tell me now knowing that we've got these two other parts to it, we've got the mushabba, we've got the mushabba bihi. Now, would you tell me where is the adatu tashbih and where is the wajhu tashbih in the comparison that you made?
So I'm assuming as is the adatu tashbih.
Mm-hmm.
As cold as she is as cold. The cold would be wajhu tashbih.
Good, mashallah. Cold would be the wajhu tashbih because it's the similarity that's caused the comparison. If we said she is ice, that would just be mushabba and mushabba bihi. But we're saying she is as cold as ice. So you've got the adatu tashbih with the as, and then you've got the wajhu tashbih saying she's as cold as. MashaAllah, that was really good. That was really good. Can someone else give me one as well? That's got an adatu tashbih and a wajhu tashbih? It makes you think. MashaAllah. Go ahead, who can think of one? Or if I gave you one. He stood frozen like a deer in the headlights. Who would like to tell me about that one?
Do you want me to answer again or do you want someone else?
What's that sound? I'm not sure what that was. Hello? Hello? There we go. Okay. Go ahead, inshallah, sister. Feel free to do it again. It's okay.
Okay. Laika would be the adatu tashbih.
Mm-hmm.
He stood frozen like a. Could you repeat it again? He stood frozen like a.
He stood frozen like a deer in the headlights.
So a deer would be the wajhu tashbih. No.
He stood frozen like a deer in the headlights.
He stood frozen. Oh, so it would be frozen would be the wajhu tashbih.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
So the deer in the headlights, what would, okay, so let's say with all four parts.
Okay.
Give me all four parts.
So he stood would be the action, I'm assuming. Frozen would be he stood frozen. Would that be the wajhu tashbih? Like adatu tashbih. He stood frozen like a deer in the headlight would be what he's actually doing. I think it's the top.
So we've got the mushabba and the mushabba bihi.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out what the name was.
MashaAllah. So you've got the thing that's being compared, then you've got the thing being compared to, then you've got the tool of comparison, and then you've got the actual similarity which causes the comparison.
So the deer would be the mushabba, and then he used to run like a deer in the headlight, did you say? In the headlight would be the mushabba, mushabba bi, I forgot what the other word was.
So you got mushabba, mushabba bihi.
Mushabba bihi. Is that right?
So we've got he. If the deer in the headlights is the mushabba and the mushabba bihi, then what would the he be?
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. So he would be the mushabba.
Good.
And then like a deer in the headlight would be the mushabba bihi.
Good, mashallah. Yes.
I got there eventually.
MashaAllah. Sometimes it's not just one word. Sometimes it's bigger than that. Because if it's a whole sort of image in your mind, that would still be considered the mushabba bihi, even though it's not just one word. Does that make sense? And then the adat tashbih, you can have many of them. It might not just be 1 or 2 words. It can be more than that. And then you've got the wajhu tashbih. What was that? Sorry?
Oh, I was just saying it makes sense.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So you've got all 4 of these parts. Now the thing is, when you've got these 4 parts, you always have the mushabba and the mushabba bihi. Oh, 1 second. Yes?
In this, he stood frozen like a deer in the headlight, which is the adatul tashbih here, and which are those parts in this?
Okay, so he stood like he stood frozen like a deer in the headlights. So you've got he, which is the mushabba.
Okay.
Stood frozen would be the wajhu tashbih. That's the similarity between the two. Because if you think about the boy being frozen and you think about the deer in the headlights, when we think about a deer in the headlights, it just gets frozen just like that. That's why we have this phrase that we say. So the deer in the headlights is the mushabba bihi, the thing being compared to. And then you've got like a is the adat tashbih.
Okay. Jazakallahu Khair, Ustad.
Wa iyaki. It's difficult when it's not written down to see it, mashallah. Because I think the one that I wrote above, I didn't write the full one like that. I wrote, he stood like a deer in the headlights. But if we pretend that he stood frozen, there was another word in here that says frozen. He stood frozen like a deer in the headlights. You've got he, which is the mushabba. Stood frozen is the wajhu tashbih. Like is the adat tashbih. And then a deer in the headlights all together would be the mushabba bihi, the thing being compared to. Maybe it's easier if you see it kind of like that, like word for word, inshallah. Sometimes it's not as easy to spot, but that's why we have to think about it. Alhamdulillah.
What would be the deer in the headlights? What would be?
You tell me.
I forgot.
So you've got the 4 parts, let me remind you. So you've got the one being compared, you've got the thing being compared to, you've got the tool of comparison, which is the little word that connects it, and then you've got the wajhu tashbih, which is the actual similarity between the two.
Headlights, okay. So this will be wajhu wajhu tashbih. No?
Not the wajhu tashbih.
Oh, mushabbah.
So the mushabbah is the one being compared. Then the mushabbah bihi is the one being compared to.
Oh, okay.
So which is which in this sentence?
It will be mushabbah bihi.
Good. Good, mashallah. Because he's being compared to the deer.
Yeah, okay.
He stood frozen like a deer in the headlights. But it's the frozen that's the wajhu tashbih.
Okay.
Because that is what is the comparison between the two.
Okay.
It's a bit of a difficult bit of a difficult phrase. Mashallah.
Yeah, it is difficult. It's not easy.
So if we look at the one above that one, his explanation was as clear as mud. Who would like to have a go at this one and tell me all 4 parts? You don't have to say the Arabic if you don't want to, because it can be confusing because we've just gone over it. But you can just do it in the English if you'd like to, inshallah. Who would like to have a go? His explanation was as clear as mud.
His is mushabba. Clear as mud is mushabba bihi.
Okay, so remember there's 4 parts. So you've got the thing being compared, you've got the thing it's compared to, those two are never going to be gone away. Then you've got the tool of comparison, the thing that connects them, and then you've got how are they similar. So if you look first at what is being compared and what is it being compared to, what is those 2 parts?
His explanation is compared to as clear as mud. So his explanation is the mushabba.
Good. His explanation is the mushabba.
Clear as mud is the mushabba bihi.
Let's take that part apart. Because in this part here, as clear as mud, you've actually got 3 components of the tashbih. So you've got the thing being compared to, you've got the mushabba bihi in here. You've also got the adat tashbih, the tool of comparison, and you've also got the wajhu tashbih. So let's break it down. Was as clear as mud. What is the explanation being compared to? Which word? Which word is being compared to here? His explanation is being compared to something, but what is it compared to?
Mud. It's
Good.
compared to mud.
Good, mashallah. So mud would be the mushabba bihi.
Okay.
And now we've got the 2 other parts. We've got the adat tashbih and we've got the wajhu tashbih. So where is the comparison being made?
Azadush tashbih is as.
Good. Good. The adat tashbih is the as in both parts. We got as and then as again. These are both the adat tashbih. Good. So what word does that leave?
So it leaves was.
And there's one more word.
His.
No, we said his explanation. That's the mushabba. So we've done as is the adat tashbih. Mud is the clear.
Clear is the azatu. No, wajhu tashbih.
Good, mashallah. Clear is the wajhu tashbih. His explanation is a thing being compared, the mushabba. Mud is the mushabba bihi, because that is what it's being compared to. When you say as and as again, that is the adat tashbih, because that is how it's connected. And then clear, the clarity of his explanation was the clarity of mud. This is the wajhu tashbih, the similarity between the two. And this is actually saying his explanation wasn't clear at all. Because like mud is not clear, it makes everything get all dirty and it's all together, a messy mess. This is what it's saying about his explanation. So it brings that image in your mind. When you think of mud and then you think of his explanation, you can see that his explanation wasn't clear at all. Does that make sense?
Yes, Ustad.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. What about this one here? She moved as quiet as a mouse. Who would like to have a go at this one?
She moved is the mushabba. Mouse is the mushabba bihi.
Mouse is the mushabba bihi, yes. But it's not she moved, that's the mushabba. It's just one word.
Moved.
What is the thing being compared?
Her movement is compared to the quietness of the mouse.
So what are the 2 things being compared here? You've got the mouse.
And mouse.
What was that, sorry?
Quiet and a mouse.
It's not the quiet that's compared to the mouse.
Her movement.
Move.
Good, the woman. Yeah. It's the girl.
The girl, okay.
She was like a mouse.
So she, okay.
So she moved as quiet as a mouse. It's the girl that's being compared to the mouse. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So she is the mushabba. Mouse is the mushabba bihi. And now what's the other 2 parts that we've got? Go ahead, inshallah. Give it a go.
It's not as easy as you think.
Alhamdulillah. That's why I thought, let me take some time on this, inshallah.
The more I'm learning, the more confused I am.
MashaAllah. Okay, so let's take this on apart, inshallah. She moved as quiet as a mouse. So she is being compared to a mouse. Let me walk you through this one, inshallah. So she is being compared to the mouse. If I said she is a mouse, what would your imagination say to you?
A mouse.
If I just said she is a mouse.
So she's a mouse.
If I
think of
said
a
she is
mouse.
a mouse.
She's a female mouse.
If I meant the girl is a mouse. If I just said the girl is a mouse. I'm not saying literally she's a mouse. Not literally. But what would be in your imagination?
It will be small, quiet,
Quiet.
noiseless, you know, she wouldn't make any noise. Or...
Good. See? These are the things which would be the wajhu tashbih. When you think of the two things being compared, so if I just said the girl was a mouse, in your mind's eye, all of that comes up. She's quiet, she's small, she keeps to herself, maybe she scurries around, no one sees her, she's really quick, she hides a lot, she likes cheese. I like cheese. All of these things come up in your mind's eye when you just think about the thing being compared and what it's compared to. Mushabba and the mushabba bihi. These two things will never be away from the tashbih. You'll always have these two things. But then you've got the two additional components of a tashbih. You've got the adat al-tashbih and the wajhu tashbih. So in this case here, because it could have been anything. She is a mouse. It could have been that she likes cheese. It could have been that she's very quick on her feet. She's small. She's very quiet. So in this case here, in this sentence, she moved as quiet as a mouse. What is the wajhu tashbih?
Moved. Quiet.
Good. So she's moving quietly. She moved as quiet as a mouse. So moved and quiet. Moved as quiet as a mouse. Moved quietly. Moved quiet. That would be the wajhu tashbih. And then what's the component that we've got left?
Moved as is the
Good. So do you remember what that's called?
Adatul Tashbih.
Good, mashallah. The adat al-tashbih. Good, mashallah. So I want you to remember, when we're looking at these comparisons, think of the mushabba and the mushabba bihi first, because those are the two things that will always be there. Sometimes you won't find the other two. Sometimes you won't find them. That's what I was saying as we went down a little bit here. So the two parts that always remain in tashbih is mushabba and the mushabba bihi. But the other two parts may be removed. You could either have the adat or the wajhu tashbih separately, or you could have both of them, or you could have none of them at all. These two parts might not be there. So when you're looking at an example, always look for the mushabba and the mushabba bihi first. Figure out what is the two things being compared to. What are the two things that are being compared? And after that, inshallah, look for the adat al-tashbih and then look for the wajhu tashbih. Because the adat al-tashbih is a lot easier to recognize. And then the wajhu tashbih can be a little bit confusing, inshallah. So we'll do another one. So we've got this one at the top here. That boy is as tall as a tree. Who would like to do this one for me, inshallah? Let's do it in order. Look for the mushabba, the thing being compared. Then look for the mushabba bihi, the thing it's being compared to. Then look for the adat al-tashbih, the tool of comparison, the little words that connect it. And then look for the wajhu tashbih. Why are they similar?
Shall I try? Okay, so that boy would be the mushabba.
Good, mashallah.
Tree will be the mushabba bihi.
Good, mashallah.
All is what's being used to compare the two to get us the comparison.
Good. It's a similarity between the two. Yeah. The wajhu tashbih.
Which would be, and as a would be the comparison tool.
Good. The adat tashbih. Very, very good, mashallah. Very good. Very good, mashallah. So that boy, mushabba, as, and then as again is the adat tashbih. The tree is a mushabba bihi, and the tallness is the wajhu tashbih. Because if you just said that boy is a tree, you could say that boy is a tree. And then in your mind's eye, a lot of things could come into play. A lot of things could come into your imagination when you say that boy is a tree. Because this is what ilmul bayan is all about, inspiring the imagination. But when it's specified in a sentence, so here, the wajhu tashbih is present. But if this wajhu tashbih was not there, the boy is like a tree, or the boy is a tree. If I said the boy is like a tree, what are the three components here? Who can tell me what the three components would be? If it was just that boy is like a tree.
The boy is the mushabba, tree is the mushabba bihi, and like is the adatul tashbih.
Good, that'd be the adat tashbih. But now if I just said that boy is a tree, what do I have here? What components?
We have only two components, mushabba and mushabba bihi.
Good, mashallah. You just have the two components. So you see, this is the comparison between all four. That boy is as tall as a tree has all four components. If I took out the tallness and I just said that boy is like a tree, then I would have three components. But if I said that boy is a tree, then I've only got the two, mushabba and mushabba bihi. These are the four versions of a tashbih. You can only have these four. You either have the adat plus the mushabba bihi, or you can have the wajhu tashbih and the mushabba bihi, or you can have both the adat and the wajhu tashbih, or you can have neither of them. This is the four versions of a tashbih. And as we continue to grow in our understanding, inshallah, we'll see this more and more, inshallah. I think that was a really, really good session. I hope it's been beneficial to you guys. I know, alhamdulillah, it got a bit confusing in the middle, but slowly, inshallah, take it easy and don't worry so much about the Arabic.
It was very interesting. Listen, it was very interesting, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Will be well, I can't do it now because it's so difficult.
No, it's not that. It's not difficult. It's just new. That's all it is.
It just
You're new to the concept.
you know, which one is which, what?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think what was confusing is it wasn't the actual topics that were confusing. It's the terminology, and also because
the terminology, yes.
So when we were looking at when we were looking at the sentence, I was trying to remember, okay, mushabba bihi. But like you said, as long as we know what it is, that should be fine.
Yes, exactly. So don't focus so much on the Arabic terminology because we're new to this. It's a new concept. These are new words, new terminology. Don't worry so much about that. If you can remember the two things which always stay are the thing being compared and the thing being compared to, then you know that those should be the first things you look for. Regardless of if you remember if it's mushabba bihi and what way round do they go and I can't remember what the Arabic is. Don't worry about all of that. That will come in time. But what you should be remembering is the concept itself. There's four parts. One, what is being compared. Two, the thing it's being compared to. And then you're looking at what is a little word in between that connects it. And then what is the similarity between the two? What is the actual comparison being made? So if you remember that these are the four parts of the comparison of the simile, then inshallah, once your understanding solidifies, the Arabic will come automatically, inshallah. But put your focus on understanding the concept itself. Everything else will come afterwards, inshallah. inshallah. So this, I'll send you guys the PDF, inshallah. There is a little bit more to it, and you can do this for homework if you'd like to. So I've got some Quranic ayahs, and these are all types of tashbih. So what I would like you guys to do, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, is go through each of these one at a time. Go through it in the order that I said. So look for the mushabbah, the thing being compared. Then look for the mushabbah bihi, what it's compared to. Then look for the comparison, the tool of comparison. And then look for the similarity between the two, inshallah. Some of these might be complicated, but it's okay. Take your time, go through them, inshallah, and see what you find. Just try it. That's all you have to do. It's not about being right or wrong. It's just about trying, inshallah. So I'll send a PDF of this as well, inshallah, as well as after it's recorded and it gets uploaded, I'll send the video as well, inshallah. But I want you guys to try, inshallah. And you can send it to me privately. You can send it on the group, inshallah, if you'd like to. However you want to do it, it's completely up to you. You can even just keep it to yourself. It's completely fine, completely up to you, inshallah. But I would like you to have a go, because I think it'll be good. Inshallah, it'll help you get used to the concept that we've just covered. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So I'm going to send that to you guys, inshallah, and take it easy. It's a new concept, it's a new topic, alhamdulillah. It's like Balagha is a beautiful, beautiful subject to go into. And that's why it's more difficult, you see, because when it comes to Nahwu and the Sarf, everything has rules, everything is very specific. But when it comes to the Balagha, subhanallah, there's a lot more thinking involved, because you're not just looking at the words themselves. You're looking, how is this all linked? Why is this like this? Does this have an adat al-tashbih? Does this have a wajh al-tashbih? What order is this all in? Is it just one word that's mushabbah, or is there more than one? There's so much more to think about. And that's the wonderful thing, because you're really, really applying your brain to what you're learning here. It's not just information you can read. This is something you apply to what you see in front of you. And inshallah, as you go through the ayahs as well, it's going to help you understand it a bit better as well, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So I've got quite a few ayahs here, inshallah, and in your own time, you can go through all of these, bi'idhnillah. Okay. So I hope that's all right. I hope that's been okay, inshallah. And we're going to finish off here, inshallah. Does anyone have any questions or anything they would like to add?
Yes, Ustada. I want to write the sentence. Ustada's explanation was crystal clear.
Alhamdulillah.
To find the mushabbah and the mushabbah be in it.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I know it does get a bit confusing, subhanallah. I think at the start I was a bit too, I was confusing you guys too much. I should have explained it a bit better and walked you through a few more, but alhamdulillah, ya Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair for that. That was really sweet of you. Alhamdulillah. May Allah accept it.
Alaykum salam, Jazakumullahu Khaiyran.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu wa anti Jazakallahu khairan. Ameen. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Okay, so we'll finish off here, inshallah, unless if anyone else has something to say. Okay, inshallah, so we'll finish off here. Subhanallah, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا أنت التواب الرحيم سبحانك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين. Inshallah, I will see you guys in the next class. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. May Allah accept it from us all and give you all goodness and barakah in your time and rahmah and all forms of goodness in this life with Jannah in the next. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Ameen. 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 Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullahu Khaiyran Katheera.
Wa iyaki. It's my pleasure. Alhamdulillah. Take care. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum.